Last week we worked on making our paper bead designs. So you had a sheet that looked similar to one of these. And this week I'm going to show you how to get started making your paper beads. So the materials that you will need, or the supplies you will need, will be pencil, scissors, most definitely. A ruler can be helpful but not absolutely necessary. And some glue, either a glue stick or the white glue will work. And if you have some small handled paintbrushes, those would come in handy, but if you do not have those, your pencil or a toothpick would come in handy. So what we're going to start with is we're going to take the designs that we made in the triangle format and we're going to start cutting those out. So here I'm just using scissors, and if you outlined it in pencil, great, just cut along your pencil outline. But if you used a black marker, which I know some of you may have gone over this in black marker, if you don't want the black lines to show in your finished bead, then you'll want to cut inside of the line slightly so that you don't have a black outline. Some people like the black outline. That is just totally up to you, but it will show in the end if you do keep the black on there. So I'm just gonna cut out 2 of these, and you can continue cutting all of yours out. I'm just gonna start with a couple. I would suggest if you are using the color yellow that you roll your yellow bead first, because what happens is we get a little bit messy with our fingers and the glue, and yellow gets dirty very easily and shows black, and it sometimes turns to green. So if you're using yellow, you should roll that one up first. Okay, so I have these 2 that I'm going to start with, and to get started you can take either your pencil if you want a larger bead, or you can take a small handled paintbrush if you want your bead to be a little bit skinnier. And what you're going to do is you're going to have that, and if it's a toothpick, same idea. You're going to have that on the wide end of the triangle and on the back. So the white side that is not colored is where you're going to put your toothpick, pencil, or your handle. So once you get it creased onto your handle, pencil, or toothpick, you're just going to roll it evenly. And if you get off track and this tail part gets off center, you can just simply scoot that over a little bit, just very gently, and get it back on track, and it will slide a little bit for you on that pencil, or in my case it's the paintbrush handle. When you have about this much left on the end, you're gonna probably have your glue already open. That would be helpful. And you're gonna put a little bit of glue, just about that much, on the tip, and then roll it into the center. And see how the glue squeezes out? That's perfectly normal. So just go ahead and roll your finger across the whole bead, and that's going to help get the glue all over the bead, and it dries clear. So it actually is a helpful thing if it dries clear. Okay, so there is my first bead. I'm just going to let that dry for a minute or 2, and you can just set that aside. I'm just going to set it there, and I'll come back to it in just a minute. Okay, let's do one more just to see that you have a handle of it, and this time I'm going to use a pencil. So this will make a wider bead with a wider hole. And if I was going to do a whole bunch of beads and I knew I was making it for a necklace or something in particular, I might want to make sure they're all the same size. But I just want to show you what it looks like for each size that we can do. So I'm at the end, and once you get the hang of this, it will go quickly and easily. And so I'm gonna put the glue all over the bead. And if you get a little glue on your pencil, it's no big deal. It might glue it to the pencil if you're not careful, but it should slide off. And then that's what your bead would look like. And then you're gonna set it aside and let it dry, of course. There's another way that I want us to practice making beads today, and you can continue with the designs that you made last week in order to get all of those rolled up. But for this week, we're gonna do some repurposed beads, which I think is really fun. And I am a gardener, so I'm gonna use a lot of gardening catalogs because they have bright colors in them, and I love that. But any catalog with anything in it, even words, can be used. But I just love it when it has colors and patterns already in there for me. So I'm just going to start with this page, and so that you can see it, I'm going to use a black marker, but you can use your pencil if you would like. And I'm going to do some longer beads this time. And so what you're going to do is draw some long triangle lines. So I started on the edge of this page, and there's my first line. And then I'm going to draw another one the opposite direction all the way up to the top. And you could use your ruler to give you really, really straight lines, but it's fine to do it freehand as well, if you would like. Okay, so I have a few triangles drawn up and down the paper, all about the same width. And you can tear this page out to make it easier. And then I am going to cut inside of the line that I drew, because I don't really want my black marker to show, although you can, if you want it to show, leave it on there. So there's my first strip, and it does have a good bit of white on it, but it has this on the back, so that would be up to you which side you wanted to use. And be sure that your parents or your family is okay with you cutting their catalogs before you cut their catalogs. I happen to have a lot of catalogs, magazines. It could be done with even newspapers or any kind of colored paper would work for this. Okay, so I really like the way that one turned out. Notice that it's the triangle, so this is going to give me an oval-shaped bead. And so let's go ahead and see what a bead will look like with this magazine paper. So I am going to go back and use my paintbrush stick. So I'm going to take that bead off. It's not completely dry, but there is the bead that I did a minute ago, the first bead. It's purple and white, and I really like the shape, how that turned out. So that'll make a nice bead, and I'm going to set it over there and let it dry. And remember, I'm going to roll from the back. So this is the side that I want to show with the sunflowers. This is the other side, which is pretty too. And I'm going to crease that onto my paintbrush stick, toothpick, or what else did I say you could use? Pencil. If you make it a really big tool like a marker or something, you might not get a bead that's really suitable, because then the hole, the opening would be too wide. A toothpick would be about the smallest thing that you would want to wrap it around, so that you would at least have a hole that size in order to put the beads onto your material that you want to use for your jewelry. All right, so I added glue to that little piece there, and then I'm just going to roll that into the center. Your tail or your point of your triangle, part of your bead, should be in the center. And I am rubbing the glue all over the bead. Okay, now you can go ahead and take this off, but I'm just going to let it kind of set for a minute before I remove it from the paintbrush stick. So any kind of colorful magazines, you can see the patterns and things that would give you beautiful beads. And if you're looking for a certain color, like if you want all whites and pinks, you could look for those colors. If you wanted purples or greens, then you would look for those colors in order to draw out your triangles for your beads. And that is all that you have to do in order to make various size, really creative beads, either from your own drawn patterns, such as what we did last week, or from the Repurposed magazines, which Earth Day was this weekend, or is this weekend, and so using recycled magazines to make beads is a wonderful way. And just notice the size differences in the different beads. So this is the smallest one because I drew my triangles a little skinnier and wrapped it around a skinny paintbrush stick. This is the medium-sized one. It's a lot longer. And then this one I rolled around the pencil, so it's wider. So those are things to consider when you start to roll up your beads. And you want to make as many beads as you can using your own designs and some of your repurposed materials. And I hope that you had fun. There will be a part 3 showing how to put these onto your string, if you want to use string to string up your beads to make a necklace or a bracelet. And I will also have one that you can do with memory wire for next time. I'll see you next time. Bye.